My born name was Kristen, but after reverting to Islam, I now go by the name of Abida. I started wearing hijab on the first week I took Shahada. It was such an easy transition for me, and even though some of my friends, and my mother especially, didn't approve or didn't understand, I'm a strong-willed person and I always do what I want to do without giving regard to anyone else, and that can be a bad thing or a good thing, but it's my character. If I want to do something, I don't let anyone around me tell me that I can't or let their opinions influence me. My ambition is what drives me. Every day I hear Muslim women, new and old, talking about their struggles of wearing hijab, how they're scared of it being dangerous for them or because they're scared of what others think. But in my opinion, I only care what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala thinks, and I fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not the people. I don't understand how it can be hard for someone because it was never hard for me, and it's a part of Islam I never struggled with. I just knew it was my duty as a Muslimah, and that was enough for me. I definitely think hijab is for both men and women. Hijab is not just a scarf on the head. It's modesty and a mindset. It's a piece of our character. It's how we talk to people, how we act towards people, and how we present ourselves and interact with each other. For men, it's less talked about, but I think it's important to discuss hijab for men because it's not only the women's obligation or responsibility. Hijab for men is a long discussion and takes some knowledge and understand to process, but in short, the opinion that Muslim men must cover themselves between the navel and the knees is predominant, and most Muslims believe that a man who fails to observe this requirement during Salat must perform the prayer again, properly covered, in order for it to be valid. Three of the four madhabs, or schools of law, require that the knees be covered. The Maliki school recommends but does not require knee covering. According to some hadith, Muslim men are asked not to wear gold jewelry and to lower their gaze, just to give a few examples. I think the biggest link between men and hijab is lowering the gaze, because the main purpose of hijab is modesty, and a man lowering his gaze is a great way to practice that. Non-believers have such twisted views about women's rights in Islam because they have a lack of knowledge and understanding. They take what they see in the media or the movies and take it as fact. My mother thought I would marry a Muslim man and get beaten up or abused. However, my mother has met many Muslim men and their families, and she's changed her views because it takes knowledge and it takes immersion or an experience to see the high status that women have in Islam. Ever since I reverted and started wearing hijab, I've been treated with much more respect by men than before I was a practicing Muslimah. Islam in the USA is growing slightly, but not as rapidly as in other countries like Europe, for example. I believe this is because there are too many people in America who are against Islam, and especially our current president who encourages negative attitude towards Muslims. I get attacked and yelled at and harassed every single day by people in my city. I can't get hired anywhere because of my hijab, and other Muslims constantly encourage me to take it off, but if I trust in Allah, I know I will be given something better by His will alone. I think the best method is being relatable. This is why reverts play such an amazing role in dawah, because many times we were in the shoes of the people we're giving dawah to. We were a Christian or a Jew or an atheist, so we know how they're feeling and what they're thinking. When a non-believer sees a Middle Eastern or Asian Muslim who was raised a Muslim, they don't listen, most of the time, because they have nothing to relate to. But when they see a Westerner who has reverted, they're more inclined to listen, and when we can tell them, yes, I was a Christian too, or I understand, I used to believe like you believe, they're more interested and willing to listen because we can relate to them and they can relate to us. Being relatable is the #1 key to dawah. It has shown to be a very successful approach and my method to my dawah efforts.